And now we're returning with subelement E8, Signals and Emissions. 4 exam questions come from the 4 groups in this subelement. E8A covers Fourier analysis, RMS measurements, average RF power and peak envelope power, also known as PEP or PEP, and analog and digital conversion. E8A01, what technique shows the square wave is made up of a sine wave and its odd harmonics? A. Fourier analysis. E8A02, which of the following is a type of analog to digital conversion? A. Successive approximation. E8A03, which of the following describes a signal in the time domain? That's B. Amplitude of different times. E8A04, what is dither with respect to analog to digital converters? B. A small amount of noise added to the input signal to reduce quantization noise. E8A05, what is the benefit of making voltage measurements with a true RMS calculating meter? D. RMS is measured for both sinusoidal and non-sinusoidal signals. E8A06, what is the approximate ratio of PEP to average power in an unprocessed single sideband phone signal? That's A. 2.5 to 1. E8A07, what determines the PEP to average power ratio of an unprocessed single sideband phone signal? B. Speech characteristics. E8A08, why are direct or flash conversion analog to digital converters used for a software-defined radio? C. Very high speed allows digitizing high frequencies. E8A09, how many different input levels can be encoded by an analog to digital converter with an 8-bit resolution? D. 256. E8A10, what is the purpose of a low-pass filter used at the output of a digital to analog converter? C. To remove spurious sampling artifacts from the output signal. E8A11, which of the following is a measure of the quality of an analog to digital converter? A. Total harmonic distortion. E8B covers modulation and demodulation, modulation methods, modulation index and deviation ratio, frequency and time division multiplexing, orthogonal frequency division multiplexing, also known as OFDM. E8B01, what is the modulation index of an FM signal? A. The ratio of frequency deviation to modulating signal frequency. E8B02 says, how does the modulation index of a phase modulated emission vary with RF carrier frequency? D. It does not depend on the RF carrier frequency. E8B03, what is the modulation index of an FM phone signal having a maximum frequency deviation of 3000 Hz, either side of the carrier frequency if the highest modulating frequency is 1000 Hz? A. 3. E8B04, what is the modulation index of an FM phone signal having a maximum carrier deviation of plus or minus 6 kHz if the highest modulating frequency is 2 kHz? Answer is B, which is 3. E8B05, what is the deviation ratio of an FM phone signal having a maximum frequency swing of plus or minus 5 kHz if the highest modulation frequency is 3 kHz? D, 1.67. E8B06, what is the deviation ratio of an FM phone signal having a maximum frequency swing of plus or minus 7.5 kHz if the highest modulation frequency is 3.5 kHz? A. 2.14. E8B07, orthogonal frequency deviation multiplexing is a technique used for which type of amateur communication? A. Digital modes. E8B08, what describes orthogonal frequency division multiplexing? D. A digital modulation technique using subcarriers at frequencies chosen to avoid intersymbol interference. E8B09, what is deviation ratio? That's B, the ratio of the maximum carrier frequency deviation to the highest audio modulating frequency. E8B10, what is the frequency division multiplexing, or FDM? B, dividing the transmitted signal into separate frequency bands that each carry a different data stream. E8B11, what is digital time division multiplexing? B, two or more signals are arranged to share a discrete time slots of data transmission. E8C covers digital signals, digital communications modes, information rate versus bandwidth, error correction, and constellation diagrams. E8C01, what is quadrature amplitude modulation, or QAM? B, transmission of data by modulating the amplitude of two carriers at the same time, same frequency, but 90 degrees out of phase. E8C02, what is the definition of symbol rate in a digital transmission? That's C, the rate at which the waveform changes to convey information. E8C03, why should the phase of a PSK signal be changed at the zero crossing of the RF signal? A, to minimize bandwidth. E8C04, what technique minimizes the bandwidth of a PSK31 signal? C, the use of sinusoidal data pulses. E8C05, what is the approximate bandwidth of a 13 word per minute international Morse code transmission? C, 52 Hz. E8C06 says, what is the maximum bandwidth of an FT8 signal? B, 50 Hz. E8C07, what is the bandwidth of a 4800 Hz frequency shift, 9600 baud ASCII FM transmission? A, 15.36 kHz. E8C08, how does ARQ accomplish error correction? D, if errors are detected, a retransmission is requested. E8C09, which digital code allows only one bit to change between sequential code values? D, gray code. E8C010, or C10, E8C10, how can data be increased without increasing bandwidth? C, using a more efficient digital code. E8C11, what is the relationship between symbol rate and baud? A, they are the same. E8C12, what factors affect the bandwidth of a transmitted CW signal? C, keying speed and shape factor rise and fall time. E8C13, what is described by the constellation diagram of a QAM or QPSK signal? B, the possible phase and amplitude states for each symbol. E8C14, what type of addresses do nodes have in a mesh network? C, IP, which is Internet Protocol. E8C15, what technique do individual nodes use to form a mesh network? C, discovery and link establishment protocols. E8D covers keying defects and overmodulation of digital signals, digital codes, and spread spectrum. E8D01, why are received spread spectrum signals resistant to interference? A, signals not using the spread spectrum algorithm are suppressed in the receiver. E8D02, what spread spectrum communications technique uses a high-speed binary bit stream to shift the phase of an RF carrier? B, direct sequence. E8D03, what describes spread spectrum frequency hopping? D, rapidly varying the frequency of a transmitted signal according to a pseudo-random sequence. E8D04, what is the primary effect of extremely short rise or fall time on a CW signal? C, the generation of key clicks. E8D05, what is the most common method of reducing key clicks? A, increase keying waveform rise and fall times. E8D06, what is the advantage of including parity bits in ASCII characters? D, some types of errors can be detected. E8D07, what is the common cause of overmodulation of AFSK signals? D. Excessive transmit audio levels. E8D08, what parameter values distortion of an AFSK signal caused by excessive input audio levels? D. Intermodulation distortion. E8D09, what is considered an acceptable maximum IMD level for an idling PSK signal? That's D, negative 30 dB. E8D10, what are some differences between the Baudot digital code and ASCII? B, Baudot code uses 5 data bits per character. ASCII uses 7 or 8. Baudot uses 2 characters as letters and figures shift codes. ASCII has no letters, figures, shift code. E8D11, what is one advantage of using ASCII code for digital or for data communications? C, it is possible to transmit both upper case and lowercase text. And that concludes subelement E8. So hopefully you have learned something, or will be using our instructional videos here for learning, and you'll return for subelement E9. Thank you.